When Desmond ventured into the forest that day, he anticipated another routine hunting expedition. But as he trekked deeper, he heard a peculiar noise, an unusual cry that drew him closer. He followed the sound until he reached a clearing where a mysterious box lay at the foot of a tree. Peering inside, Desmond's heart skipped a beat. Inside the box was a baby, and what lay beside the infant made Desmond recoil in fear. Desmond and his wife Sarah had a love that defied all odds. They married despite their parents' strong objections and faced many challenges together. The biggest challenge of all was their inability to have children. After 2 decades of trying every possible remedy and treatment, they finally accepted their fate and focused on creating a happy life together. Desmond threw himself into his hunting business, while Sarah found joy in their shared moments and memories. Their lives took an unexpected turn that fateful day in the forest. Desmond had been pursuing a deer when he heard the strange noise. Curiosity got the better of him, and he followed the sound until he came upon the box. The sight of the baby was startling enough, but what really frightened him was the snake coiled beside the infant. Desmond's first instinct was to grab his gun, but he hesitated, sensing something extraordinary about the situation. The snake remained still, seemingly aware of Desmond's intentions. Slowly, Desmond lowered his gun, hoping to convey that he meant no harm. As if understanding, the snake uncoiled itself and slithered away, leaving the baby unharmed. Desmond carefully lifted the infant out of the box and felt an overwhelming sense of love and protectiveness. He rushed home to Sarah, cradling the baby in his arms. Sarah's eyes widened with astonishment and then softened with love when she saw the child. They named the baby Moon and decided to raise him as their own. Moon brought immense joy to their lives, filling a void that had been present for years. The couple never forgot the snake that seemed to have protected Moon, believing it was a sign that their family was meant to be. The story of Moon's arrival in their lives was rooted in tragedy and resilience. It began with Tracy, a young girl from a poor farming family. Determined to escape the cycle of poverty, Tracy refused to drop out of school despite her parents' debts. She took a part-time job at a fast food restaurant to pay for her tuition and support her family. However, the meager wages were not enough to cover all her expenses. One day at work, Tracy met Norbert, a wealthy man who offered her financial support in exchange for her companionship. Desperate and naive, Tracy accepted his advances, even though their relationship brought her no joy. She felt trapped, relying on Norbert's money to survive and support her family. Her misery peaked when she discovered she was pregnant, and Norbert callously rejected her, revealing he was married and demanding she terminate the pregnancy. Refusing to end her unborn baby's life, Tracy fled to a neighboring town where she lived in shelters and worked multiple jobs to survive. Her pregnancy grew heavier, making it difficult for her to continue working. She managed to save some money but remained isolated and without medical care. When she went into labor unexpectedly, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy alone in a public restroom. A nearby nurse helped her cut the umbilical cord, but Tracy was overwhelmed with guilt and despair. Unable to provide for her son, Tracy made the heart-wrenching decision to leave him in the forest, hoping a kind soul would find and care for him. She placed him in a box with some clothes and fled, her heart breaking with every step. Minutes after she left, a snake slithered into the box, drawn by the baby's cries. It was this snake that Desmond found beside the baby. Desmond and Sarah embraced Moon as their own, giving him all the love and care they had longed to share with a child. Moon thrived in their loving home, growing up to be a happy and curious boy. The couple often thought of the snake and the mysterious circumstances that brought Moon into their lives, feeling blessed by the serendipity that led them to their son. As Moon grew older, he exhibited traits that seemed to be a blend of his biological and adoptive parents. He was curious and adventurous like Desmond, often accompanying him on hunting trips, though he showed more interest in observing the wildlife than in hunting it. From Sarah, he inherited a love for storytelling and would often sit by the fire, listening intently to tales of the old days and weaving his own stories about the forest and its creatures. Despite the happiness that Moon brought into their lives, Desmond and Sarah couldn't help but worry about his origins and what had become of his biological mother. They often wondered if she was safe, if she had found peace after making such a difficult decision, and if she knew that her son was thriving. They decided to keep the box and the clothes Moon was found with, hoping that one day they might find Tracy and give her peace of mind about her son. Meanwhile, Tracy struggled with the loss of her child. She tried to move on, finding work in a small town and making a modest living. But the memory of her son haunted her, and she constantly wondered if he was safe, if he had found a loving home, or if he had been lost to the elements. She avoided the places and people that reminded her of her past, hoping that time would heal her wounds. Years passed, and Moon grew into a fine young man loved by his community and his adoptive parents. He often asked about his origins, sensing that there was more to his story than he had been told. Desmond and Sarah decided that when he turned 18, they would tell him everything and help him find his biological mother if he wished. On his 18th birthday, Moon was ready to learn the truth. Desmond and Sarah sat him down and recounted the day they found him, the snake and the box. They showed him the clothes he was wrapped in and the spot in the forest where they discovered him. Moon listened with wide eyes, feeling a mix of gratitude and curiosity. "I want to find her," he said. "I want to thank her for giving me life and let her know that I'm okay." With the support of his adoptive parents, Moon embarked on a journey to find Tracy. They started with the nearby town where Desmond had first found him and followed any leads they could find. It was a long and difficult search, but Moon was determined. Finally, they found Tracy living in a small village working as a teacher. She had rebuilt her life, but the pain of her past still lingered. When Moon and his parents approached her, she was stunned. She recognized the clothes he was holding and the look in his eyes. "Are you—" Tracy's voice trembled. "Yes, I am," Moon replied. "I'm your son." Tears flowed freely as Tracy embraced Moon, Desmond and Sarah standing by, their hearts full. The reunion was bittersweet, filled with stories of the past and hopes for the future. Tracy learned that her son had grown up in a loving home, and Moon finally understood the sacrifice his biological mother had made for him. Desmond and Sarah welcomed Tracy into their lives, and she became a part of their extended family. The bond that had been forged in the forest so many years ago was now stronger than ever. Together they created new memories, healed old wounds, and looked forward to a future filled with love and hope. The story of Desmond, Sarah, Moon and Tracy became a testament to the power of love, sacrifice, and the unexpected paths that life can take. It was a story that touched everyone who heard it, reminding them that even in the darkest times, there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow.